Yusuf Estes, and I'm looking for something. Actually, I'm looking for someone. Is that someone you? I want Dawah partners, and you can be my Dawah partner right now. It's real easy. Just go to dawahpartners.com, sign up, and join me. There are 3 things that I would like for you to be able to do. Any one of them or all of them. Beautiful. Number 1, you will make dua. So you can be our Dawah partner, even if you don't go to the website, but I hope you do. Number 2, share. Share this message and let other people know about becoming Dawah partners. And number 3, help us financially. Donate on a monthly basis, even if it's small. Allah loves the thing that you do regularly, even if it's small, more than the thing that you do that's really big, but you only do it once. Join me as a Dawah partner. Do it now. Click, 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 click.
A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way.
And we're coming to you almost live from our studios right here in Southern California. MashaAllah. Yeah, I got all dressed up today because, hey, you know what? Today's Doctor's Day and I want to look impressive, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to find out from Dr. Sultan and Dr. Ado what is going on with health all around the world. And I don't like to bring up the pandemic and disease, and so I just say health, and that's it. Dr. Sultan, we're going to start with you, and I hope that you got something ready for us tonight. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am ready.
Okay, and according to you, you say you're ready, so we're going to start out. Health. How many people, what's the percentage of people that are healthy in the United States right now?
That's a laughing stock.
Hey, I just heard from our station manager the difference between the people of the United Arab Emirates, because as everybody knows, the Abu Dhabi is the focal point of the government for the UAE. But Dubai is the focal point of all the tourists and stuff that's happening there. So he said there's a difference between the people of Abu Dhabi and the people of Dubai. And I asked, well, what is the difference? He said, the people of Dubai do not like the Flintstones, but the people of Abu Dhabi do. Sorry. I had to share that. Had to do that. All right. We're going to put you back up. Go ahead, doctor. What is the percentage of healthy people in the world, or in the United States, or maybe just in your house? How much the percentage?
In my house, unfortunately none. We all have problems, but we have managed them by treating the underlying causes instead of being dependent on medications to cover up symptoms. So when we talk about how many healthy people are there, I really don't know too many healthy people, because if you look carefully, this will be a very interesting question. for our audience if they could tell us that how many healthy people are or who is really healthy among our audience. When I say healthy, number one, I mean lack of symptoms. Means you don't have any headache, no runny nose, no cough, no wheezing, no muscle ache, no joint pains, no digestive problems, no headaches, no depression, no anxiety, no irritability, no memory problem, concentration, and you have excellent level of energy. You wake up in the morning, ready to hit the road. You go throughout the day having good level of energy, and by the end of the day, you aren't tired. I don't know too many people. So
Well,
again,
tell us
when-
about what's going on as far as what some of the things we should all be doing, just the general bullet points. What should we be doing to help the
Very-
problem?
very good question. Now, first of all, let's have our health, gauge our health on the international scene. United States spends more than $3.5 trillion on healthcare per year, as compared, and no other country in the world spends so much money or even come close to it. So we would expect that after spending so much money, we could be number one in health or number two or number three. No, we just fail all these grades. We are number 83. In 2012, study of American Medical Association, they put United States on as the 82nd on the health level. And now, 2018, when they did the study, the United States slipped another point to become number 83 in healthcare. Therefore, we have to ask question that why we are, by spending so much money, why we are so low on the health level. First of all, we need to realize that money cannot buy health. If money could buy health, we'll be the healthiest country on this earth. Therefore, there is something missing out of this equation. And what is that thing missing out of the equation? I'll point out, which will answer your question, that what we can do on our individual basis to improve the quality of health, because our government is not going to do that. Our insurance company, our healthcare system is not going to do that, because it is based on practically 100% on treating symptoms instead of treating the cause. Therefore, we have to take the health in our hands. So from practical point of view, what can we do? I talk about 3-point assertion, or 3 points of action, which we should start, and anyone can do that. And that is clean air, clean food, and clean water. So how can you assure to have clean air? Number one, you should not smoke. If you're smoking, you're not having clean air. Number two, you should not have a gas stove in the house, because when you have a gas stove, the amount of chemical pollution produced is 300 to 400% more than the worst smog that we talk in LA, California. Number three, we should be using green products in our personal care and taking care of our house. For example, instead of using perfume soap, you use soap that is no perfume in it. Instead of Lysol, Pine Sol, those kind of things. Use environment-friendly things like baking soda, washing soda, soaps, etc. So that will, to a great degree, will create a clean environment. And another hidden cause for a lot of people, chronic illness, is they don't realize that our house can hold or can grow molds and toxins in our houses. So if you have mold, mildew, odor, it's not a healthy house. If you have a crawl space under the house, it's not a healthy house. You got to take care of mold, mildew. If you have visible mold, it's not a healthy house. I have seen people's lives ruined because of mold exposure at home and, of course, at work also. The second thing is the clean food. Clean food means fresh, common sense. It's nothing complicated. What I'm going to talk about is simple, common sense things that you can do on day-to-day basis to improve the quality of your health, no matter what level health you are.
Well, what would you say some of the clean food is?
Well, I'm coming to that. So the clean food means fresh meats, fruits, vegetables, greens, beans, without any additives, preservatives, coloring dyes. So many times I teach my patients to avoid the SAD diet. So what is the SAD diet? They think about that is some horrible diet I'm talking about. I say the SAD diet is standard American diet, full of additives, preservatives, coloring dyes, canned meats, canned fruits, canned vegetables. So basically all you have to do is get fresh meats, fruits, vegetables, and herb spices. Cook the food at home from scratch, so you know that nothing went to the wrong went to the preparation of the food, and that's the healthiest food. I always have my breakfast at home. I always take lunch, which is prepared at home. When I come home, I always eat dinner, which is home prepared. Once in a while, go out and eat with friends and things like that. That's a different story. That's part of life. But what I'm talking about is, as a general rule, the most important things you can do on a more consistent basis now and then. If you feel that you're hemmed in because your healthy diet, you can do whatever you want. I soda, have a soda. You want to have a pie, have a pie. You want to have Coke, you can have Coke, no problem. But as a general rule, most of the time, you should be eating healthy. The third thing comes is clean water. So what is clean water? We used to have clean water, but we don't have clean water anymore. Even the quote-unquote clean water that's coming to our house has fluorine in it, fluoride in it, and also chlorine in it. This is something I'm going to bring something very interesting. Fluoride is a waste product of various chemical industries. So it says, what should we do with this product? It's a waste. Does it put it in water and give them the benefit, promote quote unquote the benefit that it strengthens your teeth? Hey, fluoride is a poison. If you want to have a non-toxic, if you want to have it kills bugs. Sodium fluoride will kill bugs. So you can use them. It's not available now. It used to be available over the counter, but it's not available now. So it's a toxic product. It shouldn't be. And chlorine, yes, it takes the bacteria out and gives a cleaner water. But chlorine, again, is a chemical which a lot of people are sensitive to and make people sick.
Actually, Doctor, I worked with, if you don't mind me to say this,
Sure.
I worked in the water industry when I was a young man. I used to paint water towers, and one of the things they warned us about again and again was being careful about any of the chlorine, because they would bring the chlorine as a granule thing in these big tubs, barrels, and then they would pour that into the water, and they said stand back and don't breathe it and be careful of it because it's a deadly poison. chlorine is the same thing that we use in bleach to bleach our clothes. And you know, everybody knows that if you get any chlorine bleach on your hands, you must wash it off right away, and you be very careful, and you can have a reaction right away. I think all people pretty much are allergic to that stuff. Is that right, doctor?
You're right. A lot of people are intolerant to chlorine, or they can have reaction to chlorine. Therefore, because it comes in such small quantities, those people who are not even sensitive, they can smell chlorine in there. And those people who are chemically sensitive, and especially chlorine sensitive, they can smell chlorine in their water, which is poison. So therefore, we can do much to the government to tell them to stop fluorine and stop chlorine. But one thing what we can do is there are special water filters, which it is about for $250. You can buy the filter, and unlimited amount of water you can filter with that. Alternative is you have bottled water, but that becomes expensive. I can afford bottled water all the time. Therefore, I have $250 filter, which every 6 months or so, I replace it inside filter, which takes out fluoride, which takes out chlorine, but does not take out mineral. That's very, very important. Some people say, okay, I'll have distilled water. No. You can't have distilled water because it has no impurity in it, but it has a lot of trace minerals, including magnesium, which is very essential for your cardiovascular health. So those people who drink water that is distilled have higher incidence of cardiovascular disease. So I do not want you to be drinking distilled water, but you can drink filtered water. So I said about $70, $80 it costs every 6 months or so to replace the filter. So
Doctor, what about, I ran across some images here, and I can put that up if you want me to. It shows there's a filter that you can put on your sink, on the faucets, and I think that's a little bit cheaper, isn't it? It's a little small thing, but you put it on the faucet, and it gives you cleaner water than you would get without the filter. Is that?
Yes. There are two types. One you can put on top of it, which you can remove, you can travel and go with that. And the second one is you can install underneath the sink, so it is away from the site, and you have a separate faucet for that to draw filter water. So both of them are acceptable, whatever your.
Well, there is a question that we have now about whenever you're asking or saying to us about the idea of distilled water. Distilled water is basically just the H2O. You use it in your iron so that iron, when you're heating, ironing your clothes, that it will not build anything up in your iron, because obviously our water out here is really bad, and some other places I've lived. So when you check your iron out, it'll get all corroded inside, and then you have to replace it. So what if somebody took some like Evian water or Fiji water and then mixed that along with H2O, just the distilled water, and then 25% of the one and 75% of the other, so that they are still getting pure water, but they are getting because Evian and Fiji are rated the highest of stuff that they sell in the supermarkets. Really good stuff. Is that right, Doctor?
Yes, it's a very good question. So the point in here is that water is an excellent solvent, so it has minerals in it. And basically the minerals already quite a small quantity is present in there. So why would I want to have, because this water is already pure, like Evian is already pure water. Why should I add distilled water to reduce the concentration of minerals in there? I don't get any special advantage of that. So my take would be just have Evian or just have the filtered water at home.
There's a very good reason for folks like me, because that is what I do.
Okay.
And I do that because of expense. I need to keep my expenses really down. And a gallon of distilled water is like 80 cents or 90 cents at the store, whereas a quart of the, in other words, 1/4 of that amount of water for the Evian or Fiji can cost several dollars, and that's the reason.
Well, you're 100% right. That's why I was proposing that you get a filter which will cost you about $250, a good filter, $250,000, and then you can just change the filter every periodically. That is cheaper. I mean,
Doctor, I used to also sell filters, the different kinds of filters, and then I found out that eventually that those filters don't really filter out all of the dangers, and they don't really filter out all of the possibilities, especially when you move around like I do from place to place, and you just rent places. So you have a lot of buildup in those old houses of corrosion in the pipes. And then also where we are right now, they have up on top of the mountain, they have a recycle plant where they recycle all of the sewage and get it out, and it sits in there, and when it goes, the heavy part goes down, and then they suck off the top of the water, and then they filter that and they send it back out. But that water is so bad here, nobody, and I mean really nobody in all of Yorba Linda really likes to drink their water or cook with it or even bathe in it. But you have to take a bath, but it's sometimes it even smells. So this is why I like to do that. I feel very comfortable. I can have Fiji water or Evian water and then cut it with pure, it's just H2O. It's nothing more than distilled water. And as you said, distilled water by itself is not a good idea, because over time you're going to deprive your body of the nutrients that you drink water for. And I agree with that. But this is, if you can afford to pay the money for the Fiji water or the Evian water, then I would recommend that. But for me, in my case, I like to split it up like that. You have brought up a very interesting point about the cost. So let me explain to you something interesting. You buy a small bottle of Evian, it costs you $2-3. If you buy a big bottle, that costs you maybe a little bit more. Sorry, doctor. I want to interrupt you. Out here in California, you have on the display, on the racks, it tells you how much per ounce, and the bigger size is more money.
That's very, 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 very.
And you're wasting more plastic and plastic cups and poison in the system. Yeah.
We have a phone call.
We do have a phone call. Let me take that phone call. All right. Salam alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuh. Salam alaikum rahmatullah.
Alaikum assalam. How are you, my dear brother?
Alhamdulillah. This sounds like Habib.
Yes, it is. First thing, I want to encourage people to call in if you have a question for the doctor. The other thing, when you're talking about mixing water, the one water you probably could mix with distilled water would be Zemzem water.
But that is very costly.
How costly? Because
Well-
we can get it for not that expensive in the Fredericton area or in the Moncton area. I don't consider it that expensive considering what it is.
Oh, no, we're not talking about considering what something is. I'm just saying that if you're on Social Security, like I am, and I'm on a very low Social Security, that is totally out of the question. I do have a gallon of about 3/4 of a gallon of Zemzem water that I've had for the last 4 years, and I don't even open it because I don't want to waste it.
Well, considering how little Zemzem water you would need to mix with the other water. It wouldn't
Oh,
be that
you know
bad.
what? There is a hadith about that. That any time that Zamzam is mixed with other water, then it all becomes Zamzam. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes.
Yes.
So even if you took an ounce of your Zemzem water and mixed it with that container that you're talking about, your distilled water will become Zemzem.
Ah, what about that, Dr. Sultan?
Well, I can't deny what Prophet ﷺ said because he's the truthful. So I have to accept that he is right and he'll always be right. The way I understand is that there was one Sahabi who asked him to move somewhere about that he couldn't have Zamzam water. So he said, well, take Zamzam water and keep putting local water in it when it starts to come to close to the end. Put more water and it will give the properties of Zamzam water to it. So I have to agree. Now, I have not studied much energy medicine, but this is also another interesting subject, which the way we are trained in Western medicine, it is hard for us to see that how energy, healing energy, can be transferred from one person to the other. So it will not be very unthinkable that how healing energy of Zamzam water can be transferred to all other waters. There are a few very interesting facts about Zamzam water. Number one is that it is very, very clean. Number two, never, if you have anywhere water, you're going to have mold, mildew, and green thing growing on it. In Zamzam water, you do not. Zamzam water is free of all bacteria and all chemicals, and free of all health harming substances.
Well, for the benefit of those who are not able to go to their local halal shop and get some Zamzam water, I guess the idea of the filters is going to be the answer. But if you can't afford that, at least try your best to work with something that is not going to poison your family, because it's really sad that some of the water supply that we have here in America is not that good. It's not as bad as what I've seen in Africa, though. That is they walk a half a day just to get enough water to take back their family for a few days. And that is very scary. They have to put it in jugs and everything, carry it on a donkey. And when they get back there, it looks brownish. And I tried to taste it. It was horrible. But yeah. Anyway, we got to take a break right now, guys. And when we come back, we'll be talking with Dr. Adil, inshallah. So everybody stay tuned and stay guided with Guide Us TV.
Guide Us TV.
Guide Us TV, first Islam channel in U.S.
Thanks to all of you for watching, sharing, and spending your time with us on Guide Us TV. And remember, tell everyone, stay guided with Guide Us TV.
Stay guided with Guide Us TV. Guide Us.
Guide Us TV, watched by many, loved by all. New Muslims, young Muslims, born Muslims, non-Muslims, all enjoy it. Guide Us TV, never ads, always free. Let's keep it free, no ads. Support and share, and get guided with Guide Us TV.
And we're back on the show again, the Muslim show, and we have the one and only Sheikh Yusuf Estes, and of course our dear colleague Dr. Sultan from Missouri. So, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi
We
wa barakatuh.
have Brother Habib on the phone as well. I wanted to bring everybody, the viewers and listeners, some updates about very important developments. This is right hot off the press. The FDA approved the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine today, on Monday. And this is going to be the first vaccine ever that had been fully approved against the novel coronavirus. Initially it got a conditional, it's called EUA, Emergency Use Authorization, back in December 2020. But now, because of the safety data and efficiency data on this particular vaccine have been consistent for the long time now, I think the safety and efficacy of those two elements are very important to the vaccine that got the FDA approval. Now they're still going some testing for the adolescents aged 12 to 15. We don't know yet, the data on that, but this is obviously another set of group of people that are being thought about getting benefit from vaccination. Now we're talking about a third dose or a booster that's also been contemplated. Initially, was going to be restricted for the immunocompromised patients, and we talked about it. But then there is a kind of a shift in the strategy that maybe they'll have general vaccination with the third dose, especially those who had it out more than 6 months after the second dose, because of the waning effect, protective effect on the vaccine. So this is obviously not universally agreed upon around the globe. In Europe, specifically, even with the developer of the BioNTech vaccine, the developer of the Pfizer vaccine, they wanted to wait and see, more data before, implementing a third dose. Everybody agrees it's good for immunocompromised patients, but the general use is still.
I have a question I'd like to share with all of our viewers out there. That who are the people that actually at BioNTech who actually came up in their laboratories with this man and his wife? Remember the story? So
yes.
I'd love for you to share that, because that's good information about Islam and Muslims.
Very, very good. Those heroes, husband and wife, they're both Muslims. They're both from Turkey. They both had very impressive credentials and history and in both medicine and science and development vaccine. And it is using the new technology of the mRNA, which appears to be the safest and the most efficacious. And it's stood the test of time, and now it got the final approval of the FDA because it have been used for tens of thousands of people. So
millions. What are you talking about?
I mean, in initial studies, but then obviously around the globe now. Used, and it will be 500 million doses. Actually, Pfizer is going to give and donate for folks around the globe. I think it's been announced a couple of months ago. So the point is, We know it's good, it works, but now the issue about the third dose, whether it's going to be for everybody or just the immunocompromised. Those who have weakened immune system, we talk about people who are taking chemotherapy for cancer, people with HIV, people who have connective tissue disease and on chronic immunosuppressive therapy, on steroid therapy, all those and diabetics, all those folks are immunocompromised, obviously elderly. So it is now going to be a little shift of thought process, and it was initially going to be in the mid-September, where this vaccination, you bring your card, and if you've been more than 6 months out after the second dose of vaccination, then you may be eligible for that, because we're going to be hitting another winter season, where the virus replication and transmissibility will be increased, and we're now going through Delta virus surge and so on. So definitely, it's something that everybody should be aware of, that this is approved, and we'd like everybody to take advantage. If they have any questions, COVID or non-COVID medical-related issue, to call 1-800-971-4383, and we'll certainly try our best to help everyone to navigate through this tough times.
All right. Well, I really appreciate the effort that you put into this research and give us these updates. Now, another question that comes up when we're talking about people that have compromised immune systems, and that's a lot of the people, a larger percentage maybe in the United States than in some other countries. And it seems strange at first why would we have a more compromised system than some of the other countries? But then when we realize our diet, our things that Dr. Sultan was speaking of in the first part of the program, so what can we do?
I think if we know all the bad things that in the diet and in the lifestyle and in the nutritional menu that's causing all this, in addition to I would say unwise and unneeded prescription of medication that will depress and impair the immune system, mostly steroids, but also improper use of antibiotics. All these things, if used unnecessarily and without any specific need, will depress the immune system and will make the body more vulnerable to any infection, whether it's a viral, fungal, bacterial, and that's just going to be a catch-22, because a lot of people said, what are we going to do after the third dose? If it's going to be, a new variant, and it's going to be, catch-up phenomenon and all that, it's not going to be of, it's like a losing battle. You can't just keep on, getting more and more and more vaccine doses, even if it's, it works, but, there's definitely a limit. We don't know even the side effects. And speaking of that, there's been a reported article here. There is a vaccine effect on functional neurological disorder.
What? Say that again. Functional
neurological disorder. This is important. It's called FND for short. So the COVID vaccination may trigger that, the functional neurologic disorder. And this is published already in Journal of Neurology and Psychiatry. And basically, it could lead to neurologic symptoms like seizures, some gait balance disturbance, weakness, falls. They could have loss of sense, and this, those symptoms are involuntary. They could be of a serious consequence. So we say yes, a vaccination is good, but we have to take good history and good exam to make sure that the people do not have, prior adverse reaction to a previous vaccine or flu vaccine. We mentioned Guillain-Barré syndrome. We mentioned some allergic reaction if it happened on a previous vaccination history or the first dose. We have to make sure that we don't make this worse and we don't end up, provoking these symptoms rather than helping patients. So yes, it could be good, and we already showed good data, but we have to make sure that, that we take this good history, because if somebody already showing these symptoms, seizures and gait disturbance and all that, may not be the beneficial, have a beneficial effect or maybe harm. And if we consider, repeated vaccination. So this is something that everybody should be aware of. We already talked before about myocarditis, or inflammation of the heart muscle, which can lead to chronic fatigue and chest pain and shortness of breath. And those are long haulers symptoms, and I think we talked about them, including the mental fog and the ability to, inability to concentrate. And this is also difficulty walking and all that, and that could be lingering for quite a while. So we have to, number one, take all measures to improve our health system and immune system by proper nutrition, getting rid of bad habits, and strengthening the immune system with naturally, we talked about it so many times, lemon honey and black seed is very critical in that, and ginger, and vitamin C and vitamin D. We already talked about, and zinc. We already talked about that so many times. Now we're going to talk into the appropriateness of who gets what, and if somebody had an adverse reaction from the first dose, probably should not get in the second or the third. And I believe more education for folks and more clear information that's been out, that will help the larger immunity and the global community health overall.
Well, it looks like the black seed that we're looking at right now online, it has a lot more than just benefits for the heart or something like that. It looks like it's got it says you can apply it to your skin, and you can apply it as a topical thing. And let me see if I can, here's what it says: how to lighten your skin with black seed oil. I didn't know that it could be used as a beauty treatment. Did you know about that?
I know about that. It also can lead to basically anti-aging effect. It could lead to either slowing or reversal of early denaturation of the skin, that lead to aging, which basically has an anti-aging effect to that effect. Delays denaturation of the proteins. It has about active 100 substances. I think we kind of alluded to it in details on previous sessions. And I know there's reports coming from Australia and other parts that has, that it's really modulate the immune system head to toe. So there is no system in the body that does not benefit from black seed therapy. Whether it's a skin, joints, inflammation.
Well, and now you're talking about the beauty, and now there is also, I found something here I'd like to show it to everybody. It says it's black seed candy. Have you heard about black seed candy? And it has cinnamon in it. Do you think that would be any good? I don't know.
No, but black seed and honey is a very powerful combination. That's been used and very, very.
Okay. So black seed, honey, and cinnamon together. That's something good.
That's very powerful for the immune system and for energy. For those who are complaining of tiredness and weakness, that's an energy boost right there.
All right. Well, that sounds pretty good to me. I think I'm going to run out and buy some candy.
Be careful now. don't mix things up. It's the black seed. That's the main component.
Let me mention something again. If any of us need to move things around in our office or stuff while we're broadcasting, we'd be sure to mute your mic, because it will really get things going for us. Yeah. All right. Dr. Sultano, have you got anything that you would like to add to what Dr. Ado was just saying?
You're talking about black seed oil, black seed candy. This is one of the make me laugh, because we know how good black seed oil is. Now, take a good food and put sugar and corn sugar in there. You convert a good food into junk food. This is what happens all the time. You take get a canned peach. Peach is such a good food, but they put sugar in there to make it a junk food. Same way, applesauce, good thing. They put sugar in there to make it a junk food.
Okay, so you're saying if they put honey in it, it's not going to help it?
No, honey may be okay.
Okay, because the content of it said honey and black seed and cinnamon, so that they're saying that's a candy.
Well, that's okay, because I didn't read the ingredients. So, see, this is another thing. You brought a very important point. You should never, ever assume anything. You should always read the labels so that you can know if it's a good food or if it's not a good food. Always read labels.
Well, here's something that says how to make honey water. It said honey water is simply made by adding 1 tablespoon or more of honey to cool room temperature or cold water that has been out of the fridge for a while. You can add honey to henna water, apple cider vinegar, and so many other different health combos. You can also add lemon or lime or mint or ginger, so many other fruits and herbs to your honey water to boost your health benefits. Do you agree with that, doctor?
Most of those ingredients are okay. There are many people who are overweight. So when you add honey to it, if you're thin, you don't have insulin resistance. If you don't have high blood pressure or coronary artery disease or diabetes, then it's okay to use honey. So that's why I do not want to use a blanket statement and say honey is good in all circumstances. Yes, honey is a good food. Again, another problem with honey is it's not the problem with the honey, but the problem is processing it. When they heat honey, it takes away, destroys all the good enzymes that are present in honey. So the honey you need to use is the honey that is just off the beehive, and it has not been processed. So that the way you know that this is not processed honey is you will see the beehive inside the honey bottle. So that is fine. But
You
if
mean
you
the
have
wax thing, the wax looking thing?
Yeah, right. So if you have that, then that is a organic honey, and it has not been processed, it's not been heated, so it has preserved enzymes in there. You can read the label, and if it says that it's not processed, or if it doesn't, best thing is.
So, but the question that I really had was honey and cinnamon. Is that a good idea?
Cinnamon is a very good idea, but if you have diabetes and other things, don't do that. I know one guy who just went after, and it was my relative, so I'm not just talking about, who just said honey is excellent. Our Prophet ﷺ said honey is good. So he was overweight, he had diabetes, and he had coronary artery disease, and he was consuming excessive amount of honey, and obviously it has the adverse effect that suddenly he had a heart attack and died at relatively younger age. So that's why when I'm giving this advice, I'm saying generally it's okay, but there are some contraindications that you should not use honey blindly, or sugar, or corn syrup, or maple syrup if you're overweight, you have diabetes, coronary artery disease.
What about apple cider vinegar? Is that a good idea?
Well, again, generally speaking, it has health benefits, but people do not realize nothing is 100% good and nothing is 100% bad. So we have to apply to the given circumstances. Now, how is apple vinegar made? By fermentation. So yeast, and you use the yeast to ferment apple juice, and it makes vinegar. Now, yeast is Allah Ta'ala has created nothing which is useless in our environment, including the human beings. Human beings are function too. I asked my non-believing, non-Muslim patients that, do you know what the purpose of a human being is? They have no idea why they're on the planet. So fungi and molds, they have their own function. They create very powerful enzymes that destroys all the leaves that fall in the fall. Therefore, I, as a general rule, do not recommend yeast-containing products. Instead of vinegar, they can use lemon juice, they can use lime juice, but I do not recommend vinegar because many of our patients suffer from fungal and yeast infection problems. So I tell them yeast-free diet. So therefore, I don't think that vinegar is a good stuff for most people.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much for that. Now, I would like to go back to Dr. Adol. In the last 9 minutes of our program here, Dr. Adol, if you don't mind, we'd like to call upon you to give us some updates on the general and then the specific, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Sure. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "Khairul idab al-khal." He was emphasizing the importance of having vinegar at home as a natural remedy and as antiseptic and an infectious agent, natural that used. But I just wanted to move on to the importance about alcohol.
Is it good for you?
There is actually more evidence now. It showed in a global conferences. 50% of the GI cancers is related to alcohol, and all the cancers in total. Just if we can imagine the impact. If people stop smoking and alcohol, there'll be 60 to 65% of total cancers worldwide will be eliminated and avoided. And by the way, they found in the GI cancers, in the stomach cancers in particular, I wanted to make sure that everybody's watching, Muslims and non-Muslims, get the benefit of this. Does alcohol frequency or quantity matter more? Well, people just, they're getting the use of socializing, talking, meetings, partying, happy hour, this and that, and just the frequency of the ingestion of alcohol is increased linearly, with the incidence of cancer in stomach cancer and all GI-related cancer. So I hope that the people really realize, only I drink that much, or a little bit, or something like that. But the more frequency that people consume alcohol, the more that they actually become a part of a built-in social activity or social fabric of everyday life and everyday event and so on. That in itself, even if a small amount, not big quantities, can lead to sharp increase in the incidence of GI cancers. And I hope people can realize now, with the information that we have, with the knowledge that we have, everybody can attain a good level of wellness simply by avoiding the toxins, avoiding all the bad habits, smoking, vaping, alcohol, hookah, all that, stuff, and really getting into the habit of consuming, fresh fruits and so on, that like Dr. Sultan emphasized so many times, that will build the immune system, that will get you the strength to resist whatever invading organism is, whether it's a corona or delta or anything else, because obviously if these things keep on having different variants and all, there'll be, catch up that will never, between the disease and the vaccine, that could not be, caught up at some point in time. So I hope that people now will start really transforming after, saying this on the show for almost close to, a year and 8 months, to really, change the mentality into wellness and prevention, rather than wait for something bad to happen and then kind of have a spot fix or acute care fix, because that will not, be the solution, because it'll come back over and over and over again. So, and that lead to bad health outcome. So maybe now that we are with the pandemic, changing lifestyle, changing our, bad habits and nutritional habits, that will really give us a long, durable, strong immune system.
I hope so. I'd really like to see something like that happen in the United States, for all of us to be a lot healthier and also be a lot more successful in whatever we do. Because if your health is down, then that's going to affect your output. That's going to affect your livelihood and a lot of the other things that we're trying to do, especially in our worship. For us as Muslims, we're worshiping 5 times a day or more, and then on the Friday we add in there the event of leaving our job and going in the afternoon, early afternoon, to the masjid, and then spending time there with other people who are also not as healthy as they should be. And this is probably a good opportunity to spread the virus that's going around. I'd like you to talk about that, if you don't mind.
We take all precautions. I think I've been saying this for a long time, so everybody knows the routine down pat. But we're talking about, yes, you come to the salah, but you take the right precautions and do not, cause harm. Then you put the mask on. Make sure you cover the face and mouth. Some people have the mask, but it doesn't cover nothing of the mouth and the nose, so it doesn't really do its good. It's counterproductive, and it defeats the purpose. So we keep emphasizing the proper masking, the social distancing, the proper hygiene, the hand hygiene, and I think overall there's definitely, especially in the young people, they're getting into the habit. They're in full swing now. They know the routine. They know what to do, and I'm glad to report that, because hopefully it's a change of culture, and then it's much easier for young people to adapt and be grown up with the right protocol, with the right, healthy attitude, and for their protection and everybody else's. So inshallah, we'll try to promote that among everyone, because now there is really no difference. No matter where you go, everybody needs food, everybody needs health, everybody needs, to sustain their life and so on. So I hope, alhamdulillah, last Saturday we had a good, program, food distribution.
Talk about that for just a minute, if you don't mind. I think that would be good to hear.
We send a lot of videos. Now, I tell you, there's a lot of people. Now, we have a lot of friends. Now, this is almost a 6 month, coming out. And so many people love it. That's all what I can tell you.
MashaAllah. Well, they're telling us again that we've reached another conclusion for the day, and that means that we have to wrap it all up. I would like to share with a dua with everybody, and I'd ask for all of us to ask Almighty God to give us better health, better faith, and better practice of whatever we do. Make us better. Ya Allah, make us all better and closer to you. Ameen. Ameen. So let's do that and tell everybody to stay tuned and stay guided with
Guidance TV.
Guidance TV.
This is Yusuf Estes, and I'm looking for something. Actually, I'm looking for someone. Is that someone you? I want Dawah partners, and you can be my Dawah partner right now. It's real easy. Just go to dawahpartners.com, sign up, and join me. There are 3 things that I would like for you to be able to do. Any one of them or all of them. Beautiful. Number 1, you will make dua. So you can be our Dawah partner, even if you don't go to the website, but I hope you do. Number 2, share. Share this message and let other people know about becoming Dawah partners. And number 3, help us financially. Donate on a monthly basis, even if it's small. Allah loves the thing that you do regularly, even if it's small, more than the thing that you do that's really big, but you only do it once. Join me as a Dawah partner. Do it now. Click, 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 click.